dear everyone, it's nice to see you again. We will continue with the Kievan square notation, and today our topic is the history of the manuscript type in which the square notation originally appeared. So I will just share my slides, and we will have a look. Okay, you should be now seeing the first slide, and now I change it. Do you see this next page, the schedule? Is it visible to you, the schedule? Just nod if you...
I just see
no, just Kievan square notation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll try it once again. Okay, now the schedule page.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see how it goes from here. So today we talk a little about the manuscript tradition, and then we have examples to see. So you see the slide changing now, okay?
Yes.
So very good. So we are talking about a manuscript type called irmologion. And of course, we who are involved with Orthodox chanting, we know what an irmologion is. You know, it consists of irmi, the irmasi in Slavonic, for the canon. But the Ruthenian type of irmologion was a different one. So this is uniquely something that evolved in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, this type of chanting book. And what is interesting is that the same kind of structure and content of the irmologion evolved both in the pneumatic znameni notation and in square notation, approximately at the same time. As I told you about the pneumatic manuscripts last time, the only copies that we actually know about from the Ruthenian culture come from the late 16th century. So during this time, approximately this manuscript type also evolved. And during the 17th and 18th centuries, there was a mass production of this manuscript. So it became the predominant chant book used for liturgy in this region. Approximately 1,200 manuscripts have been preserved and have been found and put into a catalog, but it's been estimated that there were much more produced during those centuries. There are estimations of, for instance, 10,000 copies produced at that time. Why can we estimate such? We know that this manuscript type was a very easy to produce because the square notation was relatively easy to learn, easy to write. And this manuscript was like when somebody was studying church music, they used to write their own chant book. So they produce it as a kind of a thesis of their education, like the concluding product of what they have learned. Or there were churches to which separate or individual manuscripts were written. Somebody could write several manuscripts, irmologion manuscripts during their lifetime. And so we can estimate that in every church there was their own irmologion. Every chanter had their own irmologion, or even more. So it is most likely that there were a lot of them, but what has happened during those centuries and the centuries that followed, the 18th century, 19th century, and especially 20th century, we know what happened. So a lot of wars taking place in Central Eastern Europe, a lot of destruction, churches destroyed, and also manuscripts moved from these regions to collections in other countries. And it's possible that not every irmologion has yet been found. They might still be somewhere hidden and waiting to be discovered. So we base all our information on the work of a remarkable Ukrainian scholar called Professor Yuri Yasinovsky from Lviv, Ukraine. He is the compiler of this great catalog. It's a big one, and I've just added a picture of one of the pages of this catalog. And this contains, and this has been complemented later, this contains the descriptions of 1,111 Irmologion manuscripts from different national libraries, archives, local churches, local museums, from Poland, Lithuania, Ukraine, of course, Russia, Romania, and Belarus, and there are a lot of different places from which Professor Yasinovsky collected his information. So in this catalog, which is like the treasure of anyone who deals with this Irmologian tradition, there are date estimations, there are physical descriptions of the manuscript, there are the attributions of to which church this book was compiled and who was the original author and who bought or exchanged his book with someone. And then there is a description of its main content and also the chant, the local chants which were used within the collection, indicating the origin of the melodies used, and of course the scientific literature referenced in the catalog. So this is really a must thing to have if somebody is doing research on this area. Okay. Then, so what is so specific about the Irmologion? I said it's not just about Irmi, it's about much more. So this is an anthology type manuscript. So it is a collection of many different genres, many different types of liturgical services, hymns for those services. And it's what is important is to see that it is a selection. So it basically testifies to a kind of development of artistic preferences. A chanter wanted to capture certain set of melodies. Maybe he or she preferred Balkan melodies, or just local melodies, or monastic melodies, and so they had the choice to compile whatever they saw fitting. And the book is called Irmologion, or originally the Ruthenian name for it is Irmoloi or Yermoloi. Also, when this book type spread to the Muscovite, the Russian area, it became to be called Irmolog. And also some versions used Irmologion as a Greek version. And basically it contained selection from the octoechos, the main stihira, kathismas troparia, and everything you need for the Saturday evening, Sunday morning services, Then there was, of course, a major part consisted of the Irmi, so the Irmologion in its literal sense. Then there were hymns for the Lent, Great Lent, and for Easter period from Triodion. And then there was the calendar year, so all the major feasts, 12 great feasts and the lesser feasts as well. And mainly their stihira, which have been notated here, and their Irmi, of course. And towards the second half of the 17th century, let's say, there is more and more stuff for the daily services, in sense of the all-night vigil, the divine liturgy, and such. And then there is a very interesting set of completely previously unknown hymns in the Orthodox tradition. For instance, a couple of loans from the Latin Christian chant tradition, which are really interesting to see, because in Poland and Lithuania, the Orthodox used to live between the two great Christian culture spheres, the Orthodox Church, or also Orthodoxy, and the Catholic Church, Catholicism. So there were transmissions from the Catholic tradition to the Orthodox tradition. Here you can see in the picture, you see the front page of the great Supras Irmologion, one of the earliest square notated Irmologions. And you see in the initials or the title written here very beautifully, it says basically a book called Irmologion, Creation of Our Father John of Damascus. And so, Kniga Glagolemaya Irmologion Tvorenie Prepodobnego Otca Naszego Ioanna Damaskina. And then it's right away Glas Pervi, the first mode, Piesen Pervi, the first ode, Irmos. So first mode, Irmos, begins here. So it begins with the Irmologion part. So by structure, Irmologion may consist of different settings. It may be that the octoechos part comes first and then the Irmi, or the other way around, or it can follow the modal structure. So everything, or the Irmi of the first mode are first laid out, and then the second mode, and so on. As you know, not the second, of course, in every sense, but the third is actually the one. And or they may be structured according to the calendar. So lots of different versions, and that's like the basis for classifying the structures used in the Irmologion. Okay, but what is completely new, or at least rather new, which is a Ruthenian speciality? This book contains a lot of information about its creators. So there are basically quite a lot of information about the date when this book was written, where it was written, for which church it was written, who wrote it. And then, of course, there was this new kind of repertory, as I said, for instance, the Latin loans, and also gradually first signs of polyphonic settings of the chant. These come from, we know the earliest example of polyphonic hymns are from the 1630s. And as I said, the manuscript was very personal in many senses. It was kind of a thesis produced by a student of chanting, and it was really like created for a specific place, specific purpose. And because it's so personal, it also contains a lot of like non-liturgical stuff. There are like marginal writings of the author of the book, or somebody who uses it. So there's a lot of informal content as well, which makes it really interesting. Like there are comments on how you should sing this, or you shouldn't, just leave this out, or and sing something else here, and occasionally like, today it was snowing really heavily and we started to heat the church and stuff like that, which is like the historical context I find really fascinating. Who were the authors? The monasteries were, of course, major centers of chanting, so a lot of monks were compilers or scribes creating Irmologions, members of the clergy, of course, chanters, and interestingly, also we know about women who created their Irmologion. And of course, also the marginal writings and the inscriptions and attributions provide us information about the books being donated or purchased or exchanged, and every time, or almost every time, they make a marking and that I'm this and that, and I bought this book from this and that, and this is the year of the Lord, this and that. So it contains a lot of information. It's a wonderful book. Okay, and now I think I will just show you one wonderful collection before we start singing. One wonderful collection of irmologions, which I have already mentioned. So every library that possesses these irmologions, of course, usually nowadays there are digital copies of chant books available from Ukrainian and Lithuanian and Russian collections, but I think one of the greatest, in my personal opinion, is the National Library of Poland, which has a specific electronic database called Polona. So it's polona.pl. And when you start to look for irmologion, it provides you with 45 beautiful manuscripts, very well digitalized, and they are public domain. So you can download, you can do what you want with these manuscripts. And these are predominantly from the southern parts of contemporary Poland, which were originally like part of the western Ukrainian lands. The diocese of Przemysl, which was a Greek Catholic Uniate diocese. From this period, we have the manuscripts, and I just want to show you the beauty of them. I will just open one of those, and what we see here, this is actually not beginning from the beginning, or is it? Yes, here we see the covers, which are also very interesting because they usually contain a lot of non-liturgical, unofficial stuff. And then you find pages and pages full of beautiful chants, which you can sing now that you know the notation. So, and they have a lot of information about the provenance of the manuscript, written in Polish. Actually, I only notice it's in Polish, but it's basically the dates at least are, or the centuries at least, are understandable. So looking at the manuscripts, it's easy to see what kind of structure they have, where they have irmologions, where they have anything special. A lot of beautiful illustrations also, which are formal or not formal. As I said, many of the illustrations are beautifully colored also, but occasionally they are just like written with a pencil, or they imitate some kind of printed books, because here we see already the mutual influence of the printed book and the manuscript on each other. So here is John of Damascus, for instance. And it is a very interesting picture. I can't tell what is here on the background. Is it a tower or a ship sailing or something? But it's really, really lovely.
It's a ship.
It's a ship. Yes, it will look like, yes. And here you see again, there's an octohos part beginning, and you see a lot of writings. This is this Jarmoloi, and it says to whom it belongs to, as far as I can see. It's a very small picture. But anyway, if you feel polona.pl is your site where you can find countless copies of beautiful hymns. And majority of the examples that I present here are from this collection. Okay, so
Is this page in English too?
Let me see if they have. They do. Okay.
There are more languages, or
I will just quickly check that one. I change it into English now, but
Search.
okay, the information it's in Polish only. So even if I change the language, it's now in English. The description is in Polish. Yeah.
Can be translated with.
Yeah.
No, I just want.
Yes, you can always use some online translator.
Yes.
I recommend default.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's pretty easy to see like common words from Latin used by major part of European languages. So you see the church from which it originated, who was the author, and so on, and it's part of the Przemysl diocese collection. And here is the signature or the call number always by which you refer to the manuscript. Okay, but this is a wonderful collection. I really recommend it. We will turn now to chanting. So we start to sing. And I have selected 3 lovely examples for you. Do you see the exercise 1 now? Yep, okay. So we go we have some festal hymns from Christmas, Nativity of Christ, and Easter, and also from the Holy Week. So we start with the Christmas canon, the first Irmos, first mode. You know, Christ is born, glorify him. Christos рождается, славите. And we start singing here, and this hymn has a specific feature which is pretty common also in these Irmologion manuscripts, that the text is not always evenly distributed on the notes. You see here we have Christos rajda, but we don't know where the 2 syllables rajda should be placed. We have a couple of 4 notes for 2 syllables. So we have to decide where we place it. And similar places are here, for instance, niebie, and there's a group of notes for these 2 syllables. But I think when you start to sing, you instantly know where to put it. Because the rhythm or the flow of the chant will guide you there. Okay, let's have a moment for rehearsing on our own. So I will just mute myself and we continue in a minute. Okay, maybe we start taking it piece by piece. So phrase, one phrase at a time. And the first phrase would be, of course, Christos рождается. So always the kind of the strophe ends with a whole note. Where do you see the clef? It's in the middle.
Yeah, we can barely see it.
Yes,
It's absconded by the big character.
yes. So the initial is almost covering it, but it's quite difficult to see also on other lines. But we see that this is the standard way of notating, because this manuscript comes from the late 17th century, though, so it was pretty standard already at this point to use the alto clef. So the first phrase, how would you solve the 2 syllables per 4 notes place here? So we have Christos, ra, a, but we should place the second syllable here.
Yes, ra, de, or ra, de, sau ra, de.
Рождается would be the solution. Yes, yes, I would do the same. Yes. So it's very typical that there's like a form like da-da-dum, which goes on 1 syllable, and then afterwards the second syllable is moved to the second set of notes. So these kind of figures stay together, da-da-da or da-da-da, should be sung together. Okay, but we don't have to do this with words, of course, at the beginning, but we do it using solmization. So whoever would like to start with Christos рождается until here?
With B, with C. B means C.
You can choose your own, where you start from, whichever.
But first note is C.
Yes.
Yeah, C, H.
Yes, exactly. Would somebody like to start?
Let's try. I don't know if I can do justice to the words.
Yeah. Just do do re mi. That's okay.
Christo,
So the rhythm first, if we think that there are half notes. So which would be the beginning, or the do here?
The do would be the second note.
Yes, but can you sing?
So it's C, do, re.
Where would you start?
Intonate.
Christo.
So this would be, yes, exactly. So I usually always do the same, that I find the do, yeah, and very good, exactly like this. But then the rhythm. So half notes. Very good, exactly. Yes.
And
I think there was
I cannot look.
Yes.
I cannot look at the words, and I don't know.
Yeah, sure. It's okay with the do re mi.
The language.
It's very good with the do re mi. There was a leap, I think, that should have been taken into account. So if we go
here,
yeah, it would be here. There's a leap. Third. Yes.
da, da, da. No, it's da, 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 da. It's the rhythm. I have to catch the rhythm. It's not.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
doing it correctly.
Okay. So if we repeat, let's take not so fast, because it's always
Okay.
it's good to see how many or if there are like quarters, how quickly we should
Yeah.
sing. What
Yeah.
was the tempo, like ideal tempo? So let's take a little slower.
Can we do it on the notes, not on the words?
Sure, of course.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yes.
De si, do, re, si, la, sol, do, si, la.
Mm-hmm.
Si, do, re, do, si, la, do, si, la.
Yes, very good. But the length of
Do, si, do, re, si, do, la.
where is it going? You see here, da 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 da.
Da, da.
But this is not. This is the clef. So
It's the
ignore.
clef.
It's the clef. Ignore it.
Does it have to be on each staff?
It is. It's usually written. Yes. So it's
Okay.
very often very confusing.
So
Yeah.
what about the fourth staff?
Like
I
here,
see words. Oh, I cannot. Yeah.
it's a clef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you. Got
Mhm.
you. I
So
couldn't see that one.
yeah. Okay. So da 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 da.
No, okay, so do si do re la, mi do re do mi do re do mi do re. Sorry, I have to take it.
Okay.
Or maybe
okay.
somebody else wants to do it. Nikolai, maybe you want to do it.
From where?
Let's do
I don't
it.
know.
Let's do it
If I
from
don't
the
do it from start to end,
Okay,
it's
do,
just
do, re, do, si, si, do, re, si, do, si, la, do, si, la, do, si, do, re, si, do, re, mi, do, re, mi, mi, la, mi, re, do, re, mi, do, re, mi, do, re, do, si, la, do, si, do, re, si, la, sol, la.
Yes, very good. Very good. Exactly. So it has some kind of surprising movements maybe, and especially with the word, it's a bit challenging, but always remember to ignore the clef so it doesn't confuse you. And I think it has a beautiful melody. If we look at well, let's do it from the beginning, trying with words now. So we mute and we sing until here with the words. So do would be here and we sing here, Christos would begin here. Христос рождается, славите Христос, не... Sorry, I forgot the syllable. Небесе зрящайте. I would do it like that. Не-е-е-е-бе-е-се-е. Divide them like that. Okay. Just a second. I forgot to tick the sound thing in the sharing option, so I will share it once again and tick the sound in case. Yeah. Okay. do you see the exercise 1 still? It didn't
For
go.
short time, I see exercise. I seen exercise 2.
2, and then I came
Yeah.
back. Yes, okay. So we continue from here. Da 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 da. We were here, right? The door was here. Da 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 da. Zrashайте. And we take it from here. Christos.
Hristos
Mm-hmm.
Olasi na je, nu știu. Nu.
Da 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 da. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I can't. Deci Hristos na zemli sau de ce? Na zemli.
Yeah. But do
I think we all have a problem with putting the Slavic words
yeah
on
sure.
the notes, because we don't know the melody.
Yes, of course, it's
and the words are something entirely new for us.
it is difficult. So
and unknown. It's an unknown, uncharted territory for us.
please
So
use do re mi. It's perfectly fine. Please
thank you.
Okay, so
do la si la si pa si do re do si la si do re re acolo up re mi re do si la sol la si do si la sol.
check this place,
No.
please. Does it go anyway?
Si
See?
la okay, si
Mm-hmm.
si la si so si la si do re do si la si
What the length?
Si then no, not it's
a whole note. So there's
whole note, yes, but it's
Hmm?
do la si. It's do la si. Yeah, it's la. Do.
It's a la, yeah.
La.
Yeah, but it's four beats.
Yes.
Do si la. No.
Yes.
Do yeah, re do la si. No. Not.
No.
Re do. There is do. Do.
It's re do si la.
Was it
Re do si la si do re do si la re mi re do si la re do si la do si la do si la do re si la sol la.
Very good. Yes. Here goes the melody. Yes. Okay. So there was some unexpected that the la didn't or the C didn't go anywhere here. You might expect that it goes somewhere here, but it stayed the same. And then there was this leap with a fourth. So from here to here. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we'll sing it entirely. I sing it with words, you sing with whatever you prefer. This is not the course on George Slavonic. This is just about the notation. So, did we have the do? Oh, was it do? No, do was here. Yes. Okay. And so we start here from the beginning, and let's take care of the rhythm and the syllables, trying to place them correctly. Христос рождается, славите Христосу, небесе зрящайте. Христос на земли возноситеся. Пойте, Господи, вся земля, и весельем воспойте, люди, яко прославися. So you hear there are repeating like these formulas, da, 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 which is like a standard. So once you start to sing in the mode, as you know very well, once you sing in the mode, the more and more you learn that this is the mode, and this uses these kinds of melodic phrases and formulas.
Ancient mode 1, 8.
It's mode.
From la. Base la. Cadence final la.
Yeah, this is basic Znameny chant. So and the Znameny system is not so much based on the mode as in the Byzantine chanting, but it's more about the formulas. So it's like a patchwork of putting different formulas that belong to this certain mode together, and thus you create a new chant. Okay, so this was not Easter, but Christmas, and we go to have fun with Easter. This is not an irmi, this is a stichiron, irmos, but a stichiron, and this is a little difficult to read because the other side of the page is visible, so we have to concentrate. But the happy thing is that one word keeps repeating, Pascha. So it's an easy one. And you know this stichiron, which is for the praises, chanted at the end of Matins. My English, let God arise and let his enemies be destroyed, and then you sing Easter, the Holy Easter. And do you catch my meaning at the end of the Easter Matins?
Okay. So in Romania it would be something like să învieze Dumnezeu și să risipească vrăjmașii lui.
Okay.
That's for the ones who did not understand what you said in English.
Yes.
Not
And it is what follows. Asta este ce urmează. Ce urmează după ce se spune.
Să învieze Dumnezeu, să se răjmașcă și lui. First verset, stih, but Pascha means Paștele.
Okay, so yes.
Okay, if you would be so kind, Maria, and tell us the words, at least the first line with Pascha, Sviacenia.
So Pascha, Sveshennaya nam. So the holiest Pascha nam to us today, Dnes pokazasya, showed itself. Pascha nouă, Svetaya, the new.
Paștele cele nouă.
Paștele noi credincioșilor, probabil.
Okay, so you know
Maybe, yeah.
what we're talking about. So the Easter stihira, these are the basic Pascha stihira, which are chanted throughout the Easter period, of course. And in this version, it says stihira, stihiri na. Does it say Pascha? I can't see exactly. Nachvalite is in. Yes, for the praises.
Laude, valite laude, praises.
Yeah. Okay, glass.
So are there notes there on the red characters, are there notes
No.
in there?
No,
No.
that's just the title.
I see some dots and I was scared.
There are dots because there are like these are decorative dots, and then there are like
Okay.
double indicating that the word has been shortened, or just
Okay.
like separating those. So fifth tone, or the
On
moment.
the staff, I saw some black dots on the staff under the red ones, but they're probably from the other page, on the
other page, yes,
reverse
yes.
page.
Yes, and you see here, da vos kresnet. It's an indication that first you have the stich from the Bible, the psalm verse. Here you have the clef. It's on the middle line as always, so the clef stays here and doesn't participate in the chant in other ways. And the chant begins here. So Pascha Священная нам dnes pokazasya. And of course, being a manuscript, it always depends on how clearly the scribe wrote the text, because the texts were familiar to everyone, so not always so precisely. So we have to figure out some things. And as you probably know in the Slavonic system, it's common to use these kind of, that you leave kind of out one letter from the word and write it like in a smaller way above, or you omit them completely and you just know that it's there. Especially those words that keep repeating, like Christos, Christos, it's always written with two letters only. In chant manuscripts, it may be written out entirely, but as you can see here, for instance, Christos, and you're supposed to know this is two syllables, Christos. So yeah, and the chant ends here. Here is another stanza that begins here. Okay, let's try taking it piece by piece. So Pascha Sveshennaya nam dnes pokazasya. Let's try until the end of the second stave. And now you use your do re mis and whichever you style prefer, and we try it in a second. Okay, let's try it piece by piece. So who would like to start? We have a pretty clear starting place here, since the do is on the first or the middle line, and it's also the beginning of the chant.
I will try.
Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Do, si, do, do, re, mi, do, si, do, no, sorry, re, do, re, do, si, do, re, mi, re.
Very good, exactly like this. Yep. Okay.
Can I go on?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
La, 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 sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, la, la, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, do, re, do, re, mi, mi, re. I don't know what that is.
No, no, no.
After re.
Yeah, it's pretty enigmatic. I would say it's like da 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 da. I would say it's a half note.
Do.
I would say
It's
so. Yes.
do,
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 si.
re, do, la, re, do, si, do, re, mi, re, la, sol, la, si, do, re, si, la, sol, la, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, do, re, do, re, mi, re, do, re, do, do. No, so yeah, do.
Yep, it's a do. Mhm.
Do, do, si, do, re, mi, re, mi, re, do, re, mi, re, mi, re, do, si, la, si, do, re, do, si, la.
Okay, thank you very much. What
I'm
did you
sorry
know?
about that. I'm sorry about the rhythm.
Yeah. Very good, very good. Did you notice anything like repeating?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, da, 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 da.
Mm-hmm, that phrase. And there's also
Yeah.
this da, 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 da,
Da,
da.
da, 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 da.
Mm-hmm. It comes up like 4 times in this
Mhm.
hymn. So it's of course easy to catch, and once you learn it, it makes the singing much easier. And of course, when we talk about any tradition of Orthodox chanting, you don't start by reading the notes. You start by hearing and singing, and then you have the confirmation from the notation. Okay, very nice. I think this is lovely chant, especially this Pascha which comes like the melody rises unexpectedly. The most gosh, my English is really bad today. I can't even find the translation, but you check it with the Romanian version. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it with. I do it with words, and you do it with what you prefer. And let's have a little slower tempo here. So was the door here? It used to be here, yes. So here, Pascha. Pascha święta Panie pokazała Pascha święta Pascha ta Пасха всечестная, Пасха Христос, Избавитель, Пасха непорочная, Пасха великая, Пасха великая, Пасха двери нам райские отверзающие. Пасха всех освящающая верный. It's a lovely stihira, I think. Stihira we say in Slavonic. Stihiron we say
In Romanian as well.
As well.
Stihira.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Stihira. Yeah.
Yes. That's a common word. And in Finnish we say stikira. It's so much more sharp in pronouncing everything. Okay. It's 7 o'clock. So I think we have had a lot to work on these two festal hymns. So I will just leave the last example we had for the next or the last session, and next time we will meet next week, isn't it so? On Thursday evening, and we will focus on Balkan hymns. So we will have Bulgarian and Greek hymns that we will be learning. So a little different repertory from these Znameni and Kievan chants that we have been singing today. Okay.
Our next meeting is going to be on the 28th, right?
28th it should be, yes. Yes.
And then on the 29th it will be the last one.
The last one, yes. So we will have two like
more
following each other. Yes, two more. Thank you very much. And I'd like you just to check, did you receive the link to the
Yes,
Google?
I did. I personally did. I didn't have time to open it because I'm...
Yeah, sure. There were just the previous PDFs. If somebody didn't, just send me, let me know.
Can I translate for...
Yeah, sure. Of course, please.
Dacă ați primit e-mailul cu materialele.
I understand.
Dani?
From what emails? Maybe it's in spam. I don't know.
I sent it from, I believe, from my Gmail or from my
I can tell you in a moment.
I received Maria Takala. I received Roszczenko.
Yes, that's mine.
Roszczenko,
Drive. Let's see if works. Drive Google. I can download two files, two workshops.
Yes. Just
okay.
two workshops, and I will keep adding them as we go on. So this file will appear then.
Same link. There will be other files. Okay.
Yes. Just use the same.
Oh,
link.
thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll continue next week.
Thank you.